start those notes over. And I just want to make sure with all the break that we've had that everybody knows how to do a two-step equation. And use backtracking. So I'm going to pretend you haven't taken any notes at all, and we're just going to start and make sure the first thing we're going to check is that you have the goal, which is solve two-step equations, and that you have a section for questions, and at the bottom you have a section for conclusion. This isn't going to show conclusion, but you can go to the bottom of the page and put a conclusion. So I'm working from page 120, these problems 1, 4, 7, 10, and 13. Even if you've done this, I think I'm going to add something that you haven't seen, and that is how to check that you have the correct answer. So I'm doing problem number 1. There was a number, it was multiplied by 7, and 3 was added to it, and it became 24. So this is what that looks like. We put the 24 in the last box, and then we undo what happened to the number. The opposite of adding 3 is subtracting 3. So we do 24 minus 3, we get 21. Put that in the middle box, working backwards. The opposite of multiplying by 7 is dividing by 7. So 21 divided by 7 is 3. So on the first problem, the answer is x is equal to 3. Going on to problem number 4, we're going to again set up 3 boxes and figure out what happened to the number first, what happened to the number second, and what became of it. So there was a number, it was multiplied by -3. It looks like it was subtracted, but a number in front of a variable is a coefficient. So the number in front of the m is a -3, so it was multiplied by -3, and then 6 was added to it. And it became 30. And so we do the opposite of add 6, we subtract 6. 30 minus 6 is 24. So we put 24 in the middle box, working backwards. Now we're going to divide by -3. 24 divided by -3 is -8. So m is equal to -8. Looking at number 7, there was a variable, there was a number, and we represent it with letter P, and we look to see what happened to it first. And the first thing that we see happening to the number, the variable, is that it's divided by 4. And then 10 is added to it. And it became 14. This is a good example of why we don't just look left to right, because the first thing we'd see was the 14, and that's the last thing that happened. So we're going to undo adding 10, we're going to subtract 10. 14 minus 10 is 4. Working backwards, that goes in the middle box, and then we're going to do the opposite of divided by 4. We're going to multiply by 4. 4 times 4 is 16, so P is equal to 16. Looking at number 10, there was a number, it was divided by 2. And then 1.5 was subtracted from that result, and it became 0.75. So the opposite of subtracting 1.5 is to add 1.5. 0.75 plus 1.5 is 2.25. So that goes in the middle box, 2.25. And then working backwards, we're going to multiply that by 2. 2 times 2.25 is 4.50. So A is equal to 4.50. So just to review, x is equal to 3, m is equal to -8, p is equal to 16, and a is equal to 4.50. And then finally, looking at number 13, you might be surprised to find the first thing that happened to the number is that it was multiplied by -1. If there's just a negative in front of the variable, it was multiplied by -1. And then 4 was taken away from it, and it became 5. The opposite of subtracting 4 is to add 4. 5 plus 4 is 9. That goes in the middle box, working backwards. And then we're going to divide by -1. So that's -9. So x is equal to -9. Now, even if you've taken notes, even if you've done this assignment, what we're going to do next, we haven't done yet, and that is to check to see that we have all these answers correct. That, in fact, we haven't made any mistakes, and these values work. So this should be new for everybody. So let's check the first one, that x is equal to 3. We're going to replace the x with the value that we think it is. And I'm going to stop the video here just for a moment to make sure that you can see what I've done. So notice that this variable right here got replaced with this value. There used to be an x right there, and now we're replacing that x with what we think the answer is to check to see that it is correct. And so what we do is multiply 7 times 3, add 3 to it, and check to make sure that that equals 24. And it does. So we're going to check each one of these. The next one, we think that m is equal to -8. So we write -3, instead of times m, we do times -8. And add 6 to see if that is equal to 30. -3 times -8 is 24 because a negative times a negative is a positive when we multiply, so 24 plus 6 is equal to 30. That one checks. Let's try our next one. We think p is equal to 16. So we're going to write 14 equals 16 divided by 4 plus 10, and see if that makes a true statement. And 16 divided by 4 is 4. 4 plus 10 is 14, so we have the correct value for p on number 7. checking number 10, we think the answer is 4.50. So we replace A with 4.50, divide that by 2, subtract 1.5, and we should get 0.75 if we found the correct value for A. 4.50 divided by 2 is 2.25, and we subtract 1.5 from that, and we'll just check to see if that's correct. And we got that one correct, so let's check the last one. So we're going to check to see if 5 equals negative, and I almost put a 9 there, but then I realized that I'm going to go back and check what we thought the answer was. We think the answer is actually negative 9. So you'll see me go back here and check. Yeah, we thought the answer was negative 9. So I'm going to put negative 9, the opposite of negative 9, minus 4. So I'm going to draw a quick little number line to show what the opposite of negative 9 is. So negative 9 is on the left, and its opposite is all the way on the right. And something happened there. I should have shown 9 minus 4 is 5. Try one more. See if you can figure out what happened to the number first, what happened to the number next, what it became, and how to work backwards. So it was multiplied by negative 4 first, 6 was added to it, it became 46. So we subtract 6, it becomes 40. That goes in the middle box, working backwards. And then we divide by negative 4. (40) divided by negative 4 is negative 10. So W is equal to negative 10. So let's see what the check looks like on that. To check that, read write 6 minus 4 times negative 10 to make sure that that is equal to 46. Negative 4 times negative 10 is negative 40. 6 minus negative 40 is the same as 6 plus 40, so that checks.